The participation of the Óbidos Technology Park in the systemic network has different purpose, different objectives. Some of them are the increase of the innovation in our territory, closing the gap between companies and the students and the schools, and of course another perspective of developing creativity, innovation, that it's some of the things that we have been doing in Óbidos for a long time ago. We believe that if students have connections to companies, for companies it's very interesting also to understand how the new generations, the millennials, think about consumption, about work, about the objectives that they have for their own life, and somehow the companies could prepare themselves for this kind of different generation or generation gap. For the students, it's also interesting for them to increase new skills, new competences that companies need, and sometimes they are not provided by schools. So we believe that both for students and for companies, we could have an interesting match for the present. So as a technology park, we have been developing several projects. This is another step in our way, in our path for developing these skills in our community. We began with a project called My Machine, where the main objective that we had is to develop creativity in young kids and somehow for them to understand that they could dream with a job that they want for the future, because it could happen in Óbidos. And we are creating machines that solve problems with them and with other different levels of our schools. And another project that we launched last year called the Academia de Code, where we teach young kids from 6 to 18 years old developing coding skills and also robotics. So this is another very important project for us, and the results are, I believe until now, very interesting. We are now having projects that are created with the companies and our schools, and this is what we are now developing, a new project connected with the space exploitation, with talking with astronauts, and we are doing this with companies of the park. So it's something that we consider very interesting, because it's a real need that we have in our daily lives, because until now there were different worlds. Schools and companies didn't talk with each other, and I believe these projects could have this kind of meaning, and this is why we are basically doing the project.
Hi there, I'm Antonio Matias from the company Gadget Priority. We really like to start to, as we say, to scatter the seeds in our schools. So we might feel that the youngsters look ahead before they decide what they're going to be, before they decide what they're going to study, to look at the technologies and the electronics, because there is a huge demand these days for people with the knowledges in this world. Óbidos, now we are together. We are either motivated to grow together, and the schools in our town are very important. They have a big importance in the future. It's a great investment in our kids, I think. Also, our company are interested in growing in the future, and for sure will be available to make some trial works with the students, so they can test and improve the skills in the handcrafts and the tools. Despite the huge demand we have these days in software, we have a lot of companies working in software, but we cannot forget that we still need to produce things, and these days the electronics, the gadgets have a big market waiting to be done. So we have a very nice agreement with our local big school here in town, and they show lots of interest in give to the students the possibility to join our companies and to make some work, some tests, to start making some kits, some tools, some antennas, some networks and radio communications that will end in the future with the radio contact with with the International Space Station, hopefully next year in February.
The close relationship of the school with the company will contribute to a practical and qualified training of students, aimed at the present and future needs of the markets. It is important to develop partnerships with the local community for effective transition planning into adult life. The guests will present experiences and explore a particular topic related to several specific subjects. This initiative allows reinforcing of the bridges between theory and practice, showing applicability and relevance of the contents taught and integrations of knowledge which will benefit the integrations of the students in the future.
In the presentation that was shown this morning, I liked the movie that was shown to the students because the story of the movie is very similar to the experience that we're going to do in February 2018. I think that's too important to understand what's going on the world, and in sciences we can find every day anything new. Nowadays we use scientific objects such as communication gadgets like smartphones and tablets, and I think that this kind of image is very explicit in the presentation that I saw this morning.